Hey, welcome back to the channel. As always, bro, I hope you're feeling loved and blessed. I hope you're continuing to find your purpose and your mission. I hope you're taking it easy on yourself. Don't let things stress you out. You get to do things, not that you have to do things. You know, you're blessed with this life. You woke up today. Appreciate it. I hope this content is speaking to people. If it is, if it's speaking to you, make sure you like, commenting, and subscribe, bro. People have been commenting, and I love the support. So let's go ahead and get into the next episode. Yo, what is good, everybody, man? Welcome back to another Kids Room Podcast episode, man. Another episode getting done at 4:40 in the morning. And the best time for me personally is to get into the word because the mornings for me sometimes I am filled with weakness. I do not feel strong sometimes. Um, we all have those days of whenever you feel more defeated when you wake up and the day hasn't even started. The enemy is already trying to get into your ear and into your mind to keep you in the bed, keep you down, and keep you falling over, even when you're supposed to be standing strong when you're feeling weak. But today we're not going to go over a proverb. We're going to be talking really about when you feel strong, man. Like you feel weak, but you still got to have faith, right? So even when you don't feel strong, it's very important to have faith. And let's go over the reasons why. Just to start off with the episode, 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 9. Okay? It goes on to say, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." Now, what is that? God was talking to Paul at this time because Paul was referring to something as a thorn in his flesh, right? So, but God was saying that pain, though, and that suffering is what's bringing you closer to me. So you know what? That is sufficient. That is good. That is the best way for you to get closer to me, right? In order for you to get that peace, to get tranquility, to get that prosperity, right? To get that life, to get that mission. So pain is necessary, right? And pain is also temporary. It won't last forever, but it is necessary for you to break through and to be crushed and to be created into a new creation, right? So Paul felt weak, but God didn't tell him to try harder because God's power shows up whenever we are weak. Whenever we are not always able to walk in faith. It is very hard to walk in faith sometimes when your emotions are taking control of you, when circumstances, your job ain't working, your family arguing with you, you're arguing with your friends and your spouse and doing things like that, bro. But, you know, that's when we feel weak. Whenever we're being drained of all these different things, and then whenever you're making a decision in weakness, you go back another day or two, and then those things subside, and it's like, why did I make that decision in weakness? Why did I go do that in weakness? Why did I do that? Because I was feeling that pain in a temporary state. But if you just stay grounded, if you pray about it, if you ask God about it, yes, be frustrated and seek out counseling and talk to people and do things like that. Yes. But at the same time, faith is still trusting God when you don't feel strong at all. Faith is just proven through weak moments. When you're tired, when you're overwhelmed, when you don't feel like praying, it feels heavy on you and you show up anyway. That's what faith is. Faith is just doing something even when you don't see it. We having hope for something when you don't see it. So, but being weak doesn't mean that God isn't going to provide. Being weak doesn't disqualify you from the plan. Being weak doesn't mean that you should think differently of yourself in doing those things, man. And I get down on myself too. I'm a person that struggles with that. I'm a person that struggles with my emotions. I'm a person that struggles with anxiety. I'm a person that struggles with depression. I'm a person that struggles with remembering things and trying to do things. But you know, I have to continue to move forward. God used the people that weren't perfect. Obviously, none of us are perfect, but the people that believe that they have to have everything together, those are the people that are moving in their own strength. But if you know that you don't have everything together, but you still trust God, you know you don't have the finances, but you still trust God. You know you're not the smartest, but you still trust God. You know you're not the strongest, but you still trust God. You know you're not everything, that you don't have everything, that you can't be, that you can't produce everything, but you still trust God. God can use you. God can use those people, because weakness makes you rely on God. If we were always strong, we would never need God. Weakness builds humility. If you keep your heart soft and vulnerable and keep it towards the direction of God, he can do something with that. Not a hardened heart that wants to be the opposite way. Go do other things when what God is doing, not be obedient, right? Weakness reveals God's strength. Your weakness is where power flows the most. Your power is from the source. So if we are the plug, God is the outlet. So yes, we have the cord and we have the ability and we have the appliance, the ability to produce power, but we need the power source, and that's God. So if we can find our way to the outlet somehow, which is why sometimes it's a climb because the outlet is off the ground. So you have the foundation of what you're standing on, what you're laying on, right? That's what the cord lays on, is a foundation. And then the outlet is always above the floor. It's always above the baseboard. So that outlet is where you're trying to get to. So it's a climb sometimes. So God never asked you to be strong. He's always asked you to trust him. That's it. So God asking you to trust him today. When you feel weak today, don't shut down. Just lean in and just say, God, help me. Give me strength for today. And if you feel weak at the end of the day, and when you go to bed, you might not feel your best, that's because God still gave you strength for today. And then when you wake up tomorrow, you just continue to do the same thing. So you don't always have to feel strong because God is always with you. He never forsakes us. He continues to be with you, and he's lifting you right now as we speak. God is just filling the gaps of where you feel like you're weak at, where you feel like you're suffering at. And sometimes you might not feel a certain gap because that's where you rely on yourself the most. And until you let go of that, he cannot move the way he wants to move you into the next season. So when you feel weak, know that your faith is what's going to keep you strong and keep you pushing. I appreciate y'all for tapping in with me today, man. Like, comment, subscribe, bruh. Be blessed, be loved, and I'm going to catch y'all on the next one.